Can you hear my dogs barking? This is what yoga is now. It's very calm and then dogs bark. That's just how this works nowadays. And it looks like I'm trying to like double. If you could see all the screens that I can see myself on right now, you'd probably get nauseous. So why sun salutations, right? Like the whole point about them, you hear it in class all the time, like flow through, sun salutation. And if you're new to a class, like I remember being in a class and being told like, Sunny, flow through. And I was like, I need to watch the teacher and make sure I know what the hell they're talking about because I was lost. Because it's not something, you hear at a gym. You don't ever hear sun salutation. It's kind of a foreign concept until you become like one of the yogis. And I don't mean that in the cliche way, but you can't not say it and sound not cliche. Not. So we'll break it down for the next 30 minutes. I'm just going to be here throwing some things out. We'll get grounded first because if you can't tell, we could all use it a little bit. I feel like now more than ever. So you get on your mat, I'll get on my mat, or maybe you just watch. I don't know. You pick your life, okay? So before we get started, coming down into our breath. Knowing that sometimes before we get started anywhere in our lives, it's important to ground down. And like you hear that all the time, right? Like find your grounding, it's yoga. But what does that actually mean? For you, it can mean just focusing on your breath. Maybe that allows you to calm down and feel in tune with your body. Or maybe it's a matter of focusing on what's concrete around you, right? Like I'm in this room, on my mat, I'm wearing these pants and the pants feel like a blanket around my body. And maybe you just start there. Like it doesn't have to be some big fancy Buddha revelation. It can just be a present thought. And maybe it changes. The most important thing, knowing there's no expectations, right? Like different than what we see. And then just breathe into that opportunity to learn something maybe new or again through the eyes of a first timer. Sigh it out. Deep breath in. Let it fill up all the way to the back of the body and then let it go. And then crawl your hands over to the right side, just making subtle movements to open up the body before we get started. And then come over to the other side, one breath at a time. And like maybe when you breathe here, any anxiety or scaredness, scare? You know what I mean. Maybe that floats away, fear. And then come back to middle. Draw your hands towards your body. Sit up onto your heels. Reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Like maybe these 30 minutes are focused on sun salutations, but that doesn't mean we can't come into the body. We can't use this time for ourselves to reset. Even if it's not our usual practice, keeping us on our toes to start again. Deep breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, arms reach up. Plant your hands, come into tabletop. Now, usually through a typical 60-minute flow, we'll do a bunch of different things, but for right now, just to open up the body, drop your belly cow pose. Heart pulls forward, shoulders draw in towards one another. Plant your hands down. And as we move through these different poses, maybe for the first or forever time, instead of focusing on maybe what you think it looks like, focus on the feeling in your body. Because that's what you come back to, that feeling. Round your back, press your hands down, tops of your feet, press along with them. Kind of like an angry cat. Like I think of those Halloween black cats that always look so pissed off. Like you be that. And And then come back to a straight spine. Going right into it, lift your hips, down dog. Pedal out your feet. What does that mean? It just means stepping through, kind of like you're walking in place here in your down dog. And as you're here, feel the elbows of your hands, so right in the in-between parts of your thumb and pointer finger, feel it press down into the mat. Feel your sits bones, so right where your sits bones or your butt would hit a chair, feel it pull up towards the sky. And then notice where you are. Like what feels shaky? Is it your legs? Is it your hands? If it's your hands, draw your ribs in and then press down into the mat. If it's your legs, feel your knees bend just slightly or as much as you need. And then feel your knees and your ankles press away from one another. It kind of makes your butt feel bigger, but it's okay, I promise. Like Lizzo would approve. And then slowly step up to meet your hands. So starting off our practice with Sun A, a variation of it, okay? So moving through what you might see, Sun A, variation, halfway lift. Hands can plant on your thighs or your shins. Shoulders pull down your back, heart reaches forward. Collarbones pull away from one another. And then don't forget about your belly. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. So if you were to look in a mirror, it's kind of like you're creating this nice stable table. But you're feeling an engagement back in your hamstrings and also in the belly. And then let that go, forward fold. You don't have to keep your knees straight. You can have them have a soft bend, right? Like no shame in the bend game. And actually, if you find yourself rounding your back, trying to touch your toes, bend your knees and then draw your heart towards your thighs. So yeah, maybe it's not picture perfect, but it serves the body good. So from here, you reach up, press down into your feet as your fingertips extend up. Extended mountain. And then forward fold. Again, finding that the poses are similar as you move, right? Like repetition to get out of your head. Going again, halfway lift. Fold. Press down, reach up. Forward fold. Being familiar with our half sun B, this variation, halfway lift. Fold. Reach up. Let it go. And you'll hear this in class keep flowing through, so you just keep moving halfway to fold. And then reach up to fold again. And then trust yourself to move through, finding the points through your body as you feel through the pose. Like, what are your legs doing? What do you feel in your core? And then go one more time, holding in your halfway lift. Pressing the back of your hips towards the back of the room. Crown of your head, almost like you're wearing this crown because you are royalty. Feel it pulling towards the front of the room, this kind of push and pull. And then fold. Bend your knees as much as you like. Heart pulls forward. And then find that same pressing away of the knees and ankles that you did in down dog. Knowing that these points of feeling are things you can check back into throughout your flow. That's how we connect the mind to the body, that feeling. Reach up. Let it go. Moving into our Sun A, the full traditional Sun A, halfway lift. Fold. Reach up, same thing. Fold again. Here's where it changes. Halfway lift, plant your hands and then step your feet back. For now, we'll start in high plank. Most of us are familiar here. But the difference between high plank and chaturanga is simple. It's a simple pulling forward of your weight. So your shoulders are over your hands. Now you could stay here. You could drop your knees. If you're feeling like you're straining to stay, drop your knees, okay? You do what you gotta do to get through the flow feeling your best. And then slowly pull your heart forward as you bend your elbows, chaturanga. So it can be up here, extended, or it can be down here, right? Like you choose, yoga's kind of like choose your own adventure. And then from here, pull your heart forward. Tops of your feet press into the mat. Inner thighs pull together. Heart draws forward. So you're feeling that pull from the top of the head going in the opposite direction from the feet pulling behind you. And if you feel like your lower back's kind of like snapping in half, what you can do is drop your knees and use cobra. So you press your feet down still and can take a slight bend in your elbows if you find yourself kind of like pressing your hands into this awful hyperextended, which is me. I mean, that's okay. You just gotta be gentle, y'all. And then from here, you'll re-tuck your toes. Lift your hips and press down into your down dog. So that's our sun egg. And usually we'll hang out here for a couple breaths because, you know, when we do a lot of these, it gets a little heated. Knowing that our sun salutations are most important for two reasons. They build the heat that the body needs to get into more complex poses, and also they serve as a meditation. So you can be familiar with what's happening without having to think too much. And that's where we come into that flow of mind, body, spirit. So we'll go through Sunay again. Step up, meet your hands. Same here, halfway lift, fold. And as you go to lift up, extended mountain, press through your feet, reach up, fingertips ignite. It's almost like you're trying to grab the moon. Fold again. Halfway lift, always halfway lift before you plant, step back. You can go from high plank to shifting forward to a low plank. Or if you want to get wild, you come right into your chaturanga. Pull forward, upward facing dog. Feet press down. Remember your elbows, don't strain them too much. Tuck your toes, hips lift, down dog. Moving through two more times a little faster. Maybe you stay with me or you kind of like whip through it. Step up. Halfway lift. Fold. Reach up. Checking in with the body. Fold again. Halfway lift. Plant your hands and then choose your own adventure. Make your way to chaturanga. Heart pulls forward, up dog. Downward facing dog. Hold here, just breathe. Like really feeling your belly. Move in and out. Checking in with the points of your body. Like maybe your knees need to press out again. Maybe you need to push the earth away through your hands. And then step up one more time, halfway. Fold. Reach up. Fold again. Like closing the book to reopen, halfway lift. Plant your hands, choose your adventure. Upward facing dog. Tuck toes, downward facing dog. Breathe in here. And just for the sake of warming the body up before we go to Sun B, lift your right leg. Feeling your heel pull towards the back of the room and the ceiling, that middle place between the two. And then bend your right knee and draw your right knee over to the right side. Just opening up the hips before we move forward. Come back to earth. Left leg does the same. Heel pulls back. Knee bends and then open up the hip. Left foot presses towards the right side of the room. Plant your hands. Feel them both equally push down and away. Come back to earth. Step up, meet your hands. And then here's where the heat finally mounts. Moving through halfway lift. Always halfway lift, fold. And then get into the sneaky chair pose, the booty building yogi pose. Sit your way back into your heels before you even lift up. Like really feeling that pressing back of weight from toes to heels. And then as your I almost said titties, as your chest hovers on your thighs, feel your knees engage, that pressing away so the inner thighs get in on the action. And then you feel the outer thighs engaged all the way into the booty. Like maybe press your hands through the legs just to get what that feeling is like touch yourself. And then lift your arms. As you lift, the heart opens the web. So feeling the heart pull, but then feeling the ribs draw in. Reach up. Sitting here. Noticing what happens. Looking down at your toes, giving them a little wiggle. And then forward fold. Oh. Halfway lift. Same thing, your vinyasa, choose your adventure. Chaturanga to up dog. Getting familiar, downward facing dog. And here's the added bonus of sun beam. Toes touch, right leg lifts up. And then step your right leg through to be in between your hands. And then your left foot here, right? Your left foot turns to face the left corner of your mat. So a 45-ish degree angle. And before you even lift up, feel your inner thighs draw in together. Outer edge of your left foot presses down into the mat, so engaging the outer part of your thigh. And then from here, keeping all of that, press your feet down as you reach your arms up. Warrior one. Allowing your knee to feel safe over your ankle, as long as it feels like your body is serving it well. Inner thighs draw in, heart draws forward, ribs engage. Belly button draws towards your spine. Like feeling like you have enough room for the hips here. One more breath. And then drop your hands in front of your foot. Step back and go to your chaturanga. Pull through up dog. And then back to down dog. Right, like getting familiar with that and then coming to the left side. Left leg lifts and steps through. Finding the same thing here. Finding your foundation. Feeling the outer edge press down. Almost like you're cupping the mat with your feet. Inner thighs engage. Reach up. And then feel throughout the body. See if it feels good. Maybe if you're locking out in the back of the leg, maybe just loosen it up. Heart pulls forward, ribs pull in. Pinkies draw in towards your face. Fingertips stretch towards the sky. And everything just hold here. Deep breath in. Plant your hands. Choose your adventure, chaturanga. Up dog or knees drop for cobra. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Pedal at your feet. One knee bends after the other. So that's it, that's sun B. It might seem like a lot, it might seem scary, but we'll just get our bodies used to the movement. So step up, meet your hands. Halfway lift, fold. Inhale, sit back. Feel your feet press down, wiggle your toes. Feel your knees press away, reach up. So the pressing of the knees pressing away is energetically, doesn't mean you can, well, I mean you can do what you want, but try to keep your knees either over the ankles rather than splaying out. So a traditional, the toes touch, and you sink back. If you're a lady that has hips like me and this kind of makes me feel like I'm falling into myself, I take my feet under my hips, toes on 12 o'clock, and sit back that way. Everything draws in here. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Hands plant, choose your adventure. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Down dog. Adding in the bonus, toes touch, right heel draws back. Step it through to meet your hands. Left foot on 45. Maybe you pull your stance a little wider, just to feel like your hips have room. Pull into the midline, then reach up. So the midline of your body being the spine from head to pubic, feeling everything, every muscle drawing into that space. It's a lot of mental imagery to connect with the muscles to engage them. Heart pulls forward. Plant your hands. Now you know, chaturanga to up dog. Up dog to downward facing dog. Toes touch, left heel lifts. Step it through. Same thing here, at this point. Maybe you're getting it. And if you're not, it's okay. We're new. We're figuring it out. Lift up. Once you feel stable, and if you don't, just come back down and regroup. Like, feel and serve yourself first, not the image you want to create. Like, fuck that image. The importance of yoga is the feeling in between. I can't stress it enough because that's what saved me. Like, we have enough images to look at and degrade ourselves from. Yoga's to escape that. Plant your hands, chaturanga. Up dog, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. This time, pedal through your knees, drop your knees all the way. Untuck your toes, tops of your feet plant on the mat. Shift your hips to your heels. Hands extend out in front of you, child's pose. Knowing your knees can stay underneath, pressing into your chest, or before your hips come down, you can take your knees to the wide edges of your mat and then sink back there. Just feeling through which one feels best for you. Deep breath in and out. So now what we're going to do is put that flow together, just one of our half sun A's. Our sun A and then our sun B. If you're feeling good, you can take it on your own terms, like as fast or as slow as you want to go. Or you can stay with me and we'll figure it out together. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Shift your weight up and then press back into your down dog. Finding all the points you need to find here. And then step up, meet your hands. Halfway lift, heart pulls. Fold. Reach up. Let it go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Matching our breath to our movement, the vinyasa. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step or jump back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, one deep breath. Let it go. Step up, meet your hands. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sink your weight back, chair pose. And then just breathe here, not wishing it away like we always might. I was a huge wishing away of chair pose, and now I'm like, hello, high chair. Forward fold, exhale, let it go. Inhale, halfway. Plant your hands, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Toes touch, inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, step it through. Plant your feet and then inhale to rise up. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Toes touch, inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it through. Plant your feet, inhale, reach up. Exhale, plant your hands, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Exhale, drop your knees. Drop your chest to your thighs and then pull your hands behind you. Palms face up, third eye drops to the mat, shell pose. This allows your shoulders to release, especially after all them chaturangas. And feel the movement of your breath in and out on your thighs and chest. Allow it to bring you back to earth. Reclaiming your control and your power. Knowing you survived. Like the moments of fire and you're still here. Congrats. You're welcome. And then just to finally release, hands extend out long. Drop to your belly, extend all the way down to your mat, palms face up. Forehead, the middle of your brows drops to the mat, third eye. Like maybe your practice is all about the feeling and the muscles, or maybe it's about something deeper. Like there's no right, no wrong. They're simply moving forward, moving through the practice, and now maybe moving with purpose as you go into your next class. And then roll over to your back just to settle down once more. Noticing your back of your head pressed down into the mat. Maybe you press down hard enough to roll your shoulders down your back. Palms can face up or down, whichever feels best. And just allow yourself to be here for one moment. And then as that moment passes, allow it another. Meeting what this is called Shavasana, but signaling a full surrender to be with yourself. And then draw your knees into your chest and fall over to your right side. Infant's pose. A moment to be reborn. Or maybe it's just a moment to start and end again. And then press up into your easy seat, like fancy term for crisscross applesauce. And we'll close this time together of moving and breathing and just rediscovering something with the sound of Om. Inhale, reach up. Pull your hands to your heart. Take a deep breath in. And maybe if it felt weird, we'll do once more. Maybe this time you join or just slightly hum. Deep breath in. The teacher in me bows to the teacher in you till we drop some time again. Namaste. Well, that's sun salutations, y'all, and I kept it to 30-ish minutes, which I have the too much gene, so that's pretty damn cool. So let me know if there's other parts of the practice you want to break down or anything of the sorts that you're like, maybe inversions, maybe crescent lunges, whatever it is, feel free to reach out and I'll start doing more beginner series and then we'll work our way towards the top. But I'll still be offering full 60-minute classes, which even if you're a beginner and even if you come in and half the time you're like, what the hell's happening? Just try it out. Like, it doesn't have to be a perfect practice. It doesn't have to be like this known science that you know every single point and position. It's just a try some things out and maybe you'll like them. So we'll try some more things sometime soon. All right. Bye.